So I made a video like 30 minutes ago when I was exposing something, and I don't want to say what it is because now I gotta speak in codes. But they basically said that my video violated the community guidelines. So I'm about to just speak in codes because this is how I know that they don't want the truth out there, okay? For those that's watching this video, I want you to press save. And when you watch it, I want you to just listen to everything I'm saying because I'm gonna speak in codes. So I need y'all to catch on. Like I said, the news has not been telling y'all everything. Now you might go to the store and get you a salad. You might get you some cucumbers. You know what I'm saying? You might bake some chicken. You might cut up some parsley flakes. You might cut up some cucumbers. You know, if you're making a banana pudding, you might want to add strawberries in your banana pudding. If you are drinking water, like if water is your favorite, you might want to check that because water is good. Water is good. All right? I'm speaking in codes. I'm speaking in codes. Okay? I need y'all to pay attention. I said to myself, you can't even drink water no more. All your fruits and vegetables, all your fruits and vegetables, all your fruits and vegetables are all coming out of you. Okay? What goes in must come out. But it's not only coming out, it's coming out watery. It's like when a baby gets diarrhea. Okay? I hope y'all catching on. I really hope y'all are catching on because I need y'all to catch on. Now that fire that happened that made the sky turn orange, I pray that those people are okay. I really pray that those people are okay. But I don't think that's what that was. That happened so y'all could go outside and record so you can inhale all of the air. I can't really say what it is. But I said I'd like to say this, okay? Now, if you didn't catch on, I feel sorry for you. For those who caught on, okay? Because this is a warning. For those who caught on, you understand the warning, okay? Of what they're doing. And they're not telling you this in the news. I said I'd like to say this. Y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up. Because... But you caught on, right? You caught on. Okay, I'm glad that some of y'all caught on, okay? Because I can't really word things how I really want to word things. But y'all save this video. And if they take this video down, I'm going to post another video. And if they take that video down, I'm going to keep posting and posting and posting and posting and posting. And if they ban my account, I'm going to make another account and keep posting and posting and posting and gain my followers back. Point blank period. Because people need to know what's going on, y'all. Y'all need to know what's going on. Like, it's a spiritual warfare out here.
This video I made, everybody had an explanation for it. But explain this. Explain this. You talking about it was a mirage and gas particles and all of that. Explain this. What did school teach you about this? What did they say about this? Why is this shadow so distorted? When I say the matrix is glitching, this is what I mean. It ain't supposed to look like that. I done seen a many shadows in my time, but I have yet to walk into a shadow with a motherfucking grid. This bitch got a grid. It's a grid on the shadow. Y'all tripping. You don't see the grid? You don't see all them lines? Trying to make it look like a shadow, but it ain't. It's some video game shit here. It's a glitch. It's not supposed to look like a fence. Oh, the leaves is coming off the spotlight and all this moonlight. You hear that confirmation? Some bullshit. You can't explain to me what this is. You can't explain to me and break this down to me. I know some of y'all gonna come and be like, oh, well, there's two different spotlights somewhere and it's casting a certain type of shadow. Shut the fuck up. I got two motherfucking spotlights right here. Ain't near one of these damn shadows showing no motherfucking grid. I don't see not one grid on one of these shadows. Where's the grid? Show me a grid. I don't want to hear none of that. Come on now. Think about this shit. Look at this shadow. None of that. You don't get no kind of grid. The moon is shining a certain, man. Shut the fuck up, man. I know the hell you ain't trying to make this shit make sense when clearly it's incomprehensible. I mean, we could come up and label it any kind of way we want to label it, but this ain't no grid work. See that? This shadow happened to be coming this way, got another shadow going the other way. Not a grid.
I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, or they want to believe in some conspiracy about people being cloned. But let me tell you, in the spiritual community, when, we talk about Nature Boy, Young Pharaoh, the people who, they got him, that is a result of people not dealing with their inner demons. That is a result of people knowing things but not putting in the work themselves. People eat themselves up. That is a result of guilt, shame, things that people are going through within that we cannot see. But when they're faced with it, because that's what happens when you wake up spiritually, you're faced with yourself. You're faced with all of your decisions you've made. You're faced with taking accountability. And some people can't face themselves. It eats them alive. And we see it. That's why you're like, what happened to... They're disconnected so far from themselves because they can't look at themselves spiritually. Their shadow, they can't handle it, and that is a direct result.
Here are 3 things that I would never say as a spiritual psychology teacher who knows the power of the subconscious mind and how it affects manifestation. Number 1, I will never complain about my age. Aging, complaining about your age. I'm very aware that it's just a number that keeps track of time. And I thank God every single day that I get to age. Number 2, saying the words I am followed by a negative descriptive word. I am is a life-altering, powerful statement. You embody what you say after the words I am. It is a claiming, it is an embodiment. So always make sure that when you say I am, you follow it with something empowering, loving, kind, positive about thyself. Number 3, while you are speaking positively about your deep desires and dreams, while you are watching your tongue, you also want to practice what Neville Goddard calls a mental diet, which is you are mindful about what you are thinking as well. So as you are playing a bigger game, and maybe a little bit of fear comes up, you want to do your best to tinge it with positivity. So much with manifestation is you don't get what you want, you get what you are, what you embody, the thoughts you allow yourself to have, the belief systems that you buy into. So you always want to make sure you are speaking kindly about yourself and others, kindly about your deep desires and dreams. You are editing your shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Shoulda, coulda, woulda is an imbalance of the 3rd chakra, so who you are at your core. It's passing judgment on self. And you always want to make sure you are thinking highly of self, lovingly of self, in the pursuit of your deep desires and dreams. I have a free live masterclass all about turning your deep desires and dreams into your destiny, happening March 20th on the spring equinox, on how you can take physical aligned action and manifest your deep desires and dreams. Just comment the word desire. It's free. It's live. So many of you are already signed up. I can't wait to be present together. I will see you on the spring equinox.
Check this out.
What we discovered in science and neuroscience is that the brain doesn't create consciousness. It downloads consciousness.
Right.
And that's what a lot of these Rosicrucians talk about, getting these ideas from, our downloads.
Yes.
They talk about getting downloads.
Correct. Downloading is real. When I took that course at MIT in applied neuroscience, Dr. Tara Swart was the professor. That's exactly what we were taught in the class.
Really?
Facts. And I have her on podcast that I did with her talking about this. We did a whole workshop together, a private class together called Spirituality Backed by Neuroscience. I'll send you a link to it.
And this is taught about at MIT.
At MIT.
Spirituality taught by neuroscience?
Spirituality backed by neuroscience.
Backed by neuroscience.
Bridging the gap.
Exactly. because the science is the background explaining what's happening on the spiritual side. What they've discovered is that the two go together. They're not to be separated.
Exactly.
That we're understanding now that in the quantum field and the mathematics is literally explaining spirituality. And spirituality is a result of what's happening in the quantum field. When you separate it, you're lost. When you put them together, you get the answers.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
You have nothing in this world to conquer or to challenge or to transcend apart from your mind. All your neighbors live here. Your enemies and friends live here. Your gods and demons live here. And yourself, imagined, lives here. Just become more and more aware that your watching place is not the thing you're watching. Just remain detached, like you're witnessing. Sometimes it will feel like some reflex uncontrollably, and you're in form again, dancing with the mind, struggling. And then as soon as you see this, don't go, oh no, just click back. And at some point, you'll feel that the claustrophobia of all this worldly internal and external noise will start to sort of drift away.
You know that your nervous system changes the moment you cross a threshold. It is no surprise that ancient builders knew this. They were designing entrances to literally reprogram human consciousness. Let's get into it. Research from the University of Notre Dame shows something fascinating about this. Walking through a doorway creates what scientists call an event boundary in your brain. Your neural activity literally reorganizes itself, creating a clean slate for new experiences. Ancient temples use this biological reset point with incredible precision. For example, like the Japanese torii gates or the processional entrances into an Egyptian temple. But don't be mistaken, these aren't just beautiful. They're quite literally technologies for consciousness. I mean, get this, the subtle elevation changes to the compression and expansion of a space. We love a good reveal. And even the shadow patterns are designed to shift your nervous system to heightened awareness. As an experiential designer from the world of theme parks traditionally, I am loving this series and I'm fascinated by how these threshold principles can transform modern spaces. Whether it's a wellness center or a sacred site, understanding entrance psychology changes everything about how we design for the human experience. So tell me, what entrance has most powerfully affected you?
Colorology is a real thing. The study of colors, because like Chief teaches, colors determine light. You feel me? Colors determine light. Color is light. So when you talk about colorology and you talk about why everything in nature is green, it's a real psychological process behind this. And when you talk about why everything is green, there's a real psychological process behind what's going on. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's called the psychology of the color green, right? When you in the hood, right? When you in the city, the regular city, and you in the hood, and you're in a hood where it's like ain't no trees out there, right? But you see the most predominant color that you're seeing is gray. The sidewalks is gray. They be blocking off the sun a lot. Whole bunch of chemtrails in the hood. Skies be gray. You feel what I'm saying too? Everything is gray. When the light from that color reflects to you, and your brain interprets that, it has a psychological effect on your behavior and your mental mood. That color gray actually puts you psychologically in a depressed state of mind. It puts you in a low vibrational state of mind. It's gray. It's gray everywhere. The sidewalks, the streets. It's not a lot of trees out there. But when you go into nature, right, like Chief teaches, it's green everywhere. Nature is your true medicine. This is your true medicine. Nature. Grounding. Being in the nature preserve, or being in the woods, being, you feel me, natural minerals, you feel me, water, the elements, living in harmony with the earth. The color green has a psychological effect on you that actually heals your subconscious. It heals your subconscious to make it more naturally based, to put a repetition of healing and harmony into your subconscious. Even these sounds, the sounds of nature that you are hearing, that's healing your subconscious. When you're in nature, it heals your subconscious. This is your direct connection to heal your subconscious. Nature is your direct connection to heal your subconscious. Just connect to nature. The psychedelics, all these psychedelics is different extracurricular activities and shit, you feel me? All you gotta do is put your melanin and tap your melanin in with nature. That's all you need to do. Connect with nature, live in harmony with nature. That's all. The color green actually heals your nervous system. It soothes your nervous system. That's why everybody love going to the park. You feel me? Having fun at the park. Summertime come out, the green is out. Everybody like going to the park. You know what I'm saying? To be in tune with the park and all that. You feel me? But that's the psychology of the color green. You feel what I'm saying? Too. That's the psychology of the color green. But your melanin belongs connected to the green. When you look at the earth, right? You look at the earth, you see the green, right? What is the green connected to? The green is connected to the, you feel me? The brown is connected to the dirt. So you got to connect your brown to the earth, to the green. That's what you got to do. You got to be in nature. That's your natural habitat. That's your natural environment. You feel me? It's the psychology of the color green. You go into nature through signal transduction. Your DNA is vibrating on the frequency of the Most High. Your DNA starts to vibrate on the frequency of the quantum field. Your DNA starts to vibrate on the frequency of God. Because nature is your direct connection to God. When you connect to nature, you connect to God. When you connect to the earth, you connect to God. When you connect to the green, you connect to the God. You connect to the trees, you connect to God. Nature is God.
Do you know that in psychology, people can borrow your nervous system, but in spirituality, it's called siphoning your energy? That's why I love learning about psychology so much, because certain things are just so connected. But you ever notice how somebody will be really, really, really sad and you'll be really energetic and happy, full of life, full of brightness. And then you get around them and all of a sudden they're happy as fuck and you're sad. I remember my ex was really depressed, and I'm sorry, I was in my stages of a healer where I thought I could help fix them. And I thought with enough tarot readings and enough Palo Santo in his room and enough crystals, he would get his shit together, but clearly he couldn't. And eventually he started projecting his sadness onto me. Now I know what you're thinking. Some people are just sad. Some people are just feeling things. Yeah, some people are sad, but then there are people who are sad and project. Pay attention to what I'm saying. They can't give you congratulations. They can't compliment you. They cannot pour into you. Basically, the basic requirements of a relationship they cannot do because they're in this phase of sadness. That's no one's fault. I'm not blaming them. However, when you realize it's affecting someone else, you have to take responsibility, right? Anytime I would finish hanging out with him, I felt drained. I would literally have to take a spiritual bath. And I did a reading on it myself, and then Spirit was just like, that motherfucker's draining energy. And I was just like, no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Not my man. And then I got a reading done, and they were like, he's draining your energy. You have to do multiple cleanses for a minute. And then I did the multiple cleanses for a minute. And that despair and sadness that I was feeling when I was with him and when he left no longer existed. I mean, I went from I miss this man so much, can't sleep, can't think, to life is amazing. I went from, oh my God, I don't know if my business is going to work. I don't know if things are going to work with my business, to things always work out for me. And it's funny because he was going into his entrepreneur phase too, but he wasn't as confident. Like, he saw my confidence and I tried to help build his confidence, but then he ended up knocking me down and putting me down and then putting himself down. I was like, oh, nah, gang. Like, it's one thing for you to feel sad on your own, but now you trying to push that shit on me. That's why you got to be careful of people who borrow your nervous system. Some people do not genuinely like you. Some people like how you make them feel. You ever get around somebody and they just want to touch you and hug you so much? Oh, let me just hug you. Get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me. And it's always somebody that don't like you too. Let me hug you. Get the fuck away from me. Now. Because now all of a sudden you hug me and now all of a sudden I'm feeling 10 waves of sadness. That's why I don't play about my cleansing. The second somebody hug me or touch me, and they be thinking they so slick just forcing the hug on you. The second they do that shit, I'm cleansing my ass for 7 nights and 7 days. Don't touch me.
I think a lot of people have experienced this, even if they describe it in completely different ways. Have you ever been around someone and walked away feeling completely drained? Like you walked into the conversation feeling good, motivated, you were full of energy. Then then after spending time with that person, it's like your mood just feels different. You are heavier, you feel mentally exhausted. You start questioning yourself and you're sitting there wondering, why do I suddenly feel like this? Now, this clip is explaining this experience through a spiritual lens. It's often referred to as energy harvesting or energy siphoning, or someone is taking your energy. Psychology might describe it differently. It may talk about emotional contagion, where we naturally pick up on the emotions of the people around us. It may talk about nervous system regulation, where our bodies respond to the emotional states of others. But honestly, I think what's interesting is that both perspectives are trying to explain something that many people recognize. Our emotional states are not always isolated. Human beings affect each other. The energy someone brings into a room can change that entire atmosphere. We have all felt this before. You can walk into a room and immediately know when something feels off. Nobody even has to say anything. You can automatically just feel the tension in the air. Or you can walk into a space where people are happy and laughing and suddenly you feel lighter. This clip talks about someone being depressed and unintentionally projecting their emotional state onto another person. And I think the word unintentionally is extremely important here because most people who are struggling aren't waking up thinking, how can I go drain somebody today? Oh, whose energy am I going to get today? Who is my next victim? I don't think, or at least I hope that a person would not wake up thinking that. But you never know. You never know. Hey, a lot of times people are carrying around pain that they have not processed. People are dealing with different things. They carrying around fear, insecurities, all types of wounds. And when we love someone, especially romantically, we naturally want to help them. We want to save them. We want to be the person who makes everything better. But sometimes in trying to support someone else, we forget to check in with ourselves. Are we helping or are we slowly losing ourselves in someone else's emotions? I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially people who are naturally empathic. The people who feel everything, who can walk into a room and immediately pick up on someone else's mood, you know, the healers, the person everyone comes to when they're going through something. Now, those qualities are beautiful, but without boundaries, they can become exhausting. And that's where this conversation about protecting your energy comes in. Whether you call it energy protection, emotional boundaries, or simply taking care of your mental health, the message is similar. You have to be mindful of what you allow yourself to absorb because love does not mean carrying someone else's entire emotional world on your back. Supporting someone does not mean abandoning yourself, and being compassionate does not mean you have to sacrifice your own peace. The story about trying to help someone through spiritual practices like tarot, crystals, and cleaning rituals is interesting because it highlights something many people experience during difficult relationships. Sometimes we become so focused on bringing someone else back into balance that we forget our own balance. We stop creating, we stop dreaming, we stop feeling like ourselves. And then one day we realize, wait, where did my confidence go? What about my motivation? Where did the version of me that felt excited about life disappear to? Sometimes reconnecting with ourselves is the first step towards getting that back. Now, when it comes to things like cleansing rituals, everyone will have their own beliefs around that. Some people may use prayer, some people meditate, spend time in nature. Some people may journal, take a quiet bath, or simply create distance from situations that feel unhealthy. The method may look different, but the intention is the same, returning to yourself. And I think that's really the deeper message here. Not living in fear of other people, not seeing everyone as someone who is trying to take from you, but becoming aware of your own boundaries. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people. Pay attention to whether a connection inspires you or creates or constantly leaves you depleted. Pay attention to whether you are showing up as yourself or you're slowly shrinking to make someone else comfortable. Because your energy, your peace, and your sense of self matter. And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is recognize when it's time to pour back into yourself. Because you can't continue giving from an empty cup. You have to protect the part of you that makes you who you are.
When you dating somebody, you're dating yourself. Point blank period, you're dating yourself. Everybody you meet in life in general is just a reflection of you, whether you realize it or not. So the people that you dating, the people that you attract to you, that's an aspect of you that the universe or God is trying to show you to yourself. So if you're not really getting along with them, they're showing you shit that you need to work on within yourself. That's why I appreciate every woman I've ever dealt with dating wise, because they've taught me so much about myself, because I literally was dating myself. My attachment issues, my narcissism, my lust, so many things they helped me learn about. So I need y'all to remember this when you dating somebody, when you in a relationship with somebody. You're not dating them. You're not in a relationship with them. You're in a relationship with yourself. You're dating yourself. They literally are an inner aspect of yourself that you are not consciously aware of. Because a lot of the time we subconsciously attract to us what we're not aware of. So if you keep attracting partners to you that you don't like, they're literally showing you an aspect of yourself that you don't like about yourself. Whatever it is about them that you don't like or that you think is toxic, the universe is putting up a fucking mirror to you. You have that in you too. You just may not notice it.
This is one of those conversations that really makes you look at relationships from a completely different angle. Because most of us have been taught to look at relationships through the lens of what did this person do to me or why did they hurt me? And yes, sometimes people do hurt us. Sometimes people are unhealthy for us. Sometimes walking away is the right thing to do. But this is bringing up a deeper spiritual question. What if the people who enter our lives are also showing us something about ourselves? It's like a mirror. What if relationships aren't just about finding someone else? What if they're also about discovering ourselves? This idea of people being mirrors is something that has been talked about in so many spiritual traditions. The belief is that the people we attract, the connections we form, even the conflicts that we experience, they all reveal parts of ourselves that we haven't fully acknowledged yet. And honestly, when you sit with that idea, it can be uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable because it's easy to point out someone else's flaws. It's easy to say they're toxic, controlling, they're emotionally unavailable. But then the mirror turns back towards us and it asks, why did this dynamic feel familiar? What part of me was accepting this? What part of me thought it was okay to accept that? What was this experience trying to teach me? And that's where the real inner work begins. Now, I don't think this means every person who enters your life is a reflection of you in every single way. Sometimes people are simply making their own choices. Sometimes someone's actions are about their own wounds and their own journey. But I do think there's wisdom in looking at our relationships as opportunities for self awareness because the people closest to us have a way of bringing things to the surface. They can reveal our triggers, our fears. They can reveal the places where we still need healing. Yes. And sometimes the person who frustrates us the most is the person showing us a part of ourselves that we don't even want to look at. It's a hard pill to swallow. No one wants to hear that the person annoying them might be teaching them something. But that's the power of the mirror. For example, if someone constantly feels abandoned in relationships, maybe there is an opportunity to explore where that fear comes from. If someone keeps attracting partners who don't respect their boundaries, maybe there's a deeper conversation about self worth and what they believe they deserve. If someone keeps repeating the same relationship patterns, maybe the question isn't only why do I keep attracting these people? Maybe it's also what am I being asked to learn from this pattern? Because sometimes the universe does not send us the same lesson because it's punishing us. Sometimes we keep experiencing something because there's something within us asking to be healed. And I think that life is constantly communicating with us through experiences, through challenges, relationships, through the things that trigger us also. Now, I also think it's good to review your own traits through past relationships. And I think that level of honesty is important because self awareness requires us to admit that we are not just the observer of our experiences, we are also participants in them. We bring our own beliefs, our own words, fears, and patterns. And when we become aware of those things, we gain the ability to change them. That's where growth happens, not from pretending we're perfect, not from blaming ourselves for everything, but from being honest enough to say, there is something here that I need to understand. I think relationships can be some of our greatest teachers because they hold up a mirror to what we can't always avoid. They show us where we feel secure, they show us where we feel afraid, also show us where we still need love from ourselves. And maybe that's why certain connections feel so intense. Maybe it's about what that person awakens within you. So the next time you find yourself frustrated by someone's behavior, it might be worth asking, what is this situation showing me? Why does this affect me so deeply? What part of myself is being brought into awareness? Because sometimes the people who challenge us the most end up becoming the greatest catalyst for our growth. Not because they were meant to stay forever, but because they helped us meet a version of ourselves we were ready to discover. In closing, this brings up a deeper conversation about self awareness because so much of our growth happens through our interactions with other people. The people we love, the people who challenge us, the people who trigger things within us that we didn't even realize were there. Sometimes someone enters our life and they bring out the most beautiful parts of us. They recognize us, they inspire us, and remind us of who we are. And then sometimes someone enters our life and they reveal the places where we still have healing to do. Yeah. The insecurities we haven't faced, the boundaries we have not created, the parts of ourselves that we've been ignoring. And I think that's why relationships can be such powerful teachers. They show us things that we may not have noticed while being alone, Because it's easy to think we are healed when nobody is challenging us. It's easy to think we have mastered patience, even self love, when everything is peaceful. But then another person comes into our life, and suddenly we're seeing emotions come up that we didn't even know was still there. And that's where the real work begins. Now, I think the conversation about energy is interesting because whether someone looks at it spiritually or psychologically, most people can agree that our environments definitely affect us. The people around us affect us, even the conversations that we have affect us. You can spend time around someone who constantly sees the world through fear, and eventually you may start questioning your own optimism. You can spend time around someone who believes in possibilities, and suddenly you start feeling more inspired. That doesn't mean another person controls your reality, but it does mean we are influenced by what we consistently surround ourselves with. And I think that's something we should all pay attention to because sometimes we ask ourselves, why don't I feel like myself anymore? And we immediately look for some huge answer, but sometimes it's worth looking at the small things. Who have I been spending my time with lately? What conversations have been filling my mind? What emotions have I been carrying that don't even belong to me? Have I been listening to my own intuition or have I been ignoring myself while trying to keep someone else comfortable? These are all very powerful questions. And I think a lot of people, especially those who are natural caregivers, they can relate to this. The people who love deeply, who want to help, who see someone's pain and immediately thinks, how can I fix this? I care about them, so I naturally want to fix it. That comes from a beautiful place. But, but there is a lesson in remembering that you are also someone worth caring for as well. You can love someone and still have boundaries. You can support someone and still protect your peace. You absolutely right. You goddamn right. You can understand someone's struggles without making those struggles your own. And I think that's where discernment comes in because protecting your energy doesn't mean walking around afraid of everyone. It doesn't mean assuming every person who is struggling is trying to take something from you. Sometimes people are just hurting. Sometimes people are going through their own battles, but compassion and boundaries can absolutely exist at the same time. You can have a loving heart and still know when something is no longer healthy for you. I think that that is one of the hardest lessons that a lot of people have to come to learn, especially when you have a strong connection with someone. Sometimes we can confuse love with responsibility. We think loving someone means we have to carry them. We think being loyal means we have to lose ourselves. But real love should not require you to disappear. The right connections should allow you to grow. They should allow you to become more of who you are. And even the challenging connections can teach you something valuable about yourself. Yes, maybe they teach you where you need stronger boundaries. They possibly could teach you what you will absolutely no longer accept. And that lesson can be just as important. So, when you look back at the relationships and connections that have shaped your life, maybe instead of only asking, why did this happen to me? I want you to ask something different. Ask, what did this reveal about me? What did this teach me? What version of myself was I being asked to become? Because because sometimes the people who enter our lives are not just there to stay forever. Sometimes they come in to awaken something. Rather that be a lesson, it could be a realization, even a deeper understanding of yourself. And maybe that's the real purpose behind these connections, not just finding someone else, but finding ourselves. So, I want to know what you think. Have you ever experienced a relationship where you realized later that the person was reflecting something back to you? Have you ever walked away from a situation and realized you had been carrying emotions that weren't even yours? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because these conversations are where we learn from each other's experiences. And until next time, and remember that every connection has something to teach us, for sure. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for making it this far in the video. Yes. And I will see you, yes, you, in the very next video.